Hey y'all, so I just finished reading The Will to Change by Bell Hooks. This book is definitely a 5 star for the month of March, and not for the reason that you think. Bell Hooks is a really intelligent writer, and she often writes essays or books in general about different topics, mostly pertaining to love. And here's my thing about bell hooks, and this is why this is a 5 star for me. It is not because every single point she made in this book I agree with. It's because of the way in which bell hooks writes. It forces you to think and really discover, do I share this opinion? The book is literally, as she puts on the title, all about men, masculinity, and love. So she talks about her view of masculinity, her view of men, what men have looked like in her life, and what she thinks men should look like moving forward, coming from the lens of feminism. Does a really powerful examination of how patriarchy influences men, especially in a negative way. And I think a lot of the things are, things that we talk about currently in society, but there are some things she brings up as well that I truly do think it's important to talk about, or even just like look within and discover what we really feel about these types of things. I don't think Bell Hooks writes in a way to like convince you so much as she writes in a way to force you to think. And I think that in our current society where a lot of us are people pleasers, I think these types of books that really make you think, okay, how do I feel? What is my opinion? What do I think about the way she says this? Those are really important so that we as individuals have the chance to discover our own set of morals. I think that if we read more books like this and we talked more about books like this, our society would look a whole lot better. I do not think if we all shared the same opinion, everybody would be happy, pacifist, loosey goosey. However, I think that it'd be really, really cool if we could at least talk about it. So, anyway, love this book. Highly recommend for people who are really interested in kind of trying to see what their morals are, especially when it comes to men. Like, if you have a soft spot when it comes to men, if you have a hard spot when it comes to men, I really recommend this book. However, if you do read this book, I really, really implore you guys to just try to place yourself outside of yourself while you're reading, if that makes sense. What I mean by that is, instead of reading it and trying to apply it to your life, like, I remember at a certain point, especially in the beginning of the book, I got triggered and I was like, whoa, I don't agree with that. And I literally had to like put myself outside my body. And I had to be like, you know what? Like, I just got to read it and I got to see where she's coming from. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to share her opinion. But when I did that, I was able to learn so much about myself. And I think that this is a great book to read if you really want to learn more about yourself and your relationship to masculinity. I'm going to get off my soapbox, but please let me know what y'all think about this book or any other books by Bell Hooks.